said it before and I'll say it again. Life moves pretty fast. You don't stop and look around once in a while, you could miss it.
You're in big trouble though, pal. I eat pieces of shit like you for breakfast.
You eat pieces of shit for breakfast?
This guy's either gonna think here's another kid with a fake ID, or here's McLovin, the 25-year-old Hawaiian organ donor. Okay, so what's it gonna be?
I am McLovin.
Hello?
Why don't you want to talk to me?
Who is this?
You tell me your name, I'll tell you mine.
Hi, Mare.
Hello.
How you doing?
Honey, did I ever mention to you that Hallie was a twin?
Hey, welcome back to the J&Z podcast. This is episode 18, we think.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
I could go
Hopefully.
back and count.
If
but
not, I'll just dub over that and it'll be like very apparent that it's episode 19.
it's gonna be like a foreign film, to English, where it's like it's episode.
The lists
like,
don't match up. Yeah, exactly. Well, I'm super excited today. We have another guest on the podcast.
I am too.
Another very close friend of mine. And as I like to start off all of our guests before we do an introduction, all that stuff, I like to share a story. And this one in particular was kind of hard to find one because we've been friends since, 1964, right, roughly? Yeah.
yeah.
One of my longest friends, standing friends, I would say I have, if she does call me her friend. We'll find that out shortly.
Acquaintance.
Yeah. We're paying her to come on the podcast.
Yes.
I was going to keep it a secret.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, here it comes.
Okay, so this one is actually about your husband.
Oh.
So, hello, Nathan, if you're watching. I don't think I've told either of you this story, but this goes back to probably the most vivid time I remember you guys talking for kind of about the first time. It was the winter break that we had, the snowpocalypse.
Yes.
Do you remember that?
Yes.
And like we didn't go to school for like 2.5 weeks or something like that.
Yes.
So we were at our friend Jessica's house in her backyard, and Amy, candidly, I would not say has a poker face.
Oh, I don't either.
Would you say that's a fair?
No.
Right, of course, yes.
It's like, wait a second. Do you have a poker face right now, trying to hide it?
I don't know.
And so she was Snapchatting what would be her husband, but anytime she would get a notification on her phone, she would like violently flip it over, and it would be like a tweet or like, and then she'd set it back down. But then it was Nathan, like her face would like glow and she'd go, and then she would like frantically go and grab it. But this one time in particular, we're meeting Nathan for the first time. And so like out of a just disgusting rom-com, once they saw each other, they just like ran into each other's arms in the snow and yeah, super gross.
That's awesome.
And but I remember I saw Nathan for the first time and I looked at Jessica and I was like, that is one attractive human being.
Right?
But that's my story. Nathan, it's so good to see you the last time you came over. Amy Moore, welcome to the podcast. We're so glad to have you on.
Seriously,
I'm
it's
glad
been a
to
while.
be here.
So I have so many questions about the movie that you picked because it was like a trip down memory lane.
Really
Yeah,
was.
it is.
Big time. Because
We should introduce the movie first.
yeah, that's probably a good idea.
Because we're just talking about something and our
They can
audience.
try and guess.
Yeah, they're just trying to guess. They're like, wait a second, what year?
What was it? Yeah, it was The Parent Trap, but the one with Lindsay Lohan, not the one from 1920.
Yeah,
with
the other one.
whoever it was.
Yeah. I
yeah.
almost thought that this was Freaky Friday for a second because I was like, same time,
Little
like,
bit.
a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Lindsay Lohan.
The
Yep.
thing too that I'll just be totally honest and admit right away. When I was a kid, I definitely thought that there was two actors.
I did too.
100%.
too.
Oh, yeah. I didn't know.
Oh, thank God. Okay.
Watching this, I'll say this really quick. I feel like this played on Disney Channel all the time when I was a kid.
Literally, it was that, and then some Lizzie McGuire movie. They just like flip flop.
Or
Yeah.
Xenon.
Xenon.
Oh yeah, that's
Just
right.
watched that like 2 years ago.
Is that like
So
the Diet Jumanji?
Yeah.
Am I remembering that right?
Jumanji?
Save some space. Xenon Girl of the 21st Century will be right back.
And now, back to space with Xenon Girl of the 21st Century.
In
Is that-
Space?
yeah.
I think that's what you're talking about. Because it also had a sequel, but they called it a sequel.
Sequel.
I thought that was so sick as a kid.
Yes.
I'm like, my name is it's Zart, and it's a sequel. It's so awesome.
Well, I definitely did not watch that movie. But the Parent Trap, like for me, if I'm gonna put on a movie just like for that pure nostalgia trip,
Yes.
it's probably The Sandlot,
See, and I've never seen that.
which we'll talk
And
about.
we
in a
went
second.
over this.
But I definitely have not seen The Parent Trap since I was probably in my like young teens.
Oh,
Same.
really?
Yeah.
Same.
Okay.
And I also thought Dennis Quaid, the dad, was Pierce Brosnan.
No, no.
But it makes
Love
sense.
them both, though.
But
Yeah.
am I crazy, or do they
No.
look kind of similar?
I mean, I just love them both. I wish they were my uncles or something, so I
Oh.
can
Yeah.
I can really tell them apart. But yeah, I can see that.
So what made you pick this movie?
Ooh, good question.
Like what was the thing that when you were asked by Jared about being on the podcast, what made you go with Parent Trap?
I honestly watch it a couple times a year. I do that with several movies because that's just who I am. But it's very nostalgic. I watched it a lot when I was growing up, and it never gets old. Literally never gets old. That, and then my other one was Princess Diaries. Parent Trap or
Oh, yeah.
Princess Diaries, but I went with Parent Trap for whatever reason.
That's a good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
I think the interesting thing about The Parent Trap, and we've done this with a lot of the movies we've reviewed, is like how we experienced it when we watched it the first time
Yeah.
versus
Mhm.
watching it now.
No.
And now I was like, if I was a kid and I was like talking to my kid self,
Mhm.
I could convince him of anything.
Yes. Yeah.
That
yeah.
watching this movie back, I was like, okay, so that's definitely the same actor.
Mhm,
Yep.
Like
mhm.
there's all this stuff going on that I totally thought was like a thing.
Yes.
Like I was that kid that if I didn't understand something,
Mhm.
like why does the moon rotate around the earth? And if
Mhm.
you're like magic, I'd go,
Magic.
really?
That's amazing.
That's crazy. But I was like, I would just eat it all up.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh yeah.
and I'm definitely still partially that way.
No, I feel
I like
that.
to think I'm not, but like
I still believe there's a Santa Claus.
There is.
Yeah. Thank
Thank
you.
There really is.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yes.
you.
Yes.
So before we get too far ahead, we should play
Yes.
our box office.
office game.
Okay, take it away, Czar.
Okay, so the year is 1998, and so I was really surprised by this list because we talk about every guest we've had on for the box office game.
Mhm.
It's been like a lot of the movies we've done recently. It's been a lot of sequels, Marvel movies, whatever. This year surprised me. I don't think that I would have gotten these right, like 100%.
Interesting.
Like if
Okay.
I was sitting on your side, I probably would get like 3. It's really weird.
I'm shooting for 1.
Same.
Okay.
If that.
So in no particular order, A Bug's Life, which that took
Banger.
me back.
Absolute banger.
That took me back.
Bugs.
Like that was I immediately like had flashbacks of.
I
watching
loved
it.
the. Is it the flies?
Yes.
Was it the French accent?
Yes.
Oh yes.
I liked the caterpillar that's like, I'm going to be a beautiful butterfly.
Yeah, and then when he turns into a butterfly,
And
and
it's
the,
little wings.
and the flies are like, ho, 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 ho.
Shoo fly, don't bother me.
You're good.
Thank you.
That
It's
was
like I'm
perfect.
watching it right now, you guys.
I really like that movie. I really like that
It's
movie.
good. It's good.
Godzilla
That's a lot of fish.
Ooh,
with Matthew Broderick. Yeah.
another classic.
I've seen it.
Very different movies.
Oh yeah.
Well,
Yes.
actually, there's probably more similarities.
There's I mean, giant monster and Bug's Life.
True.
The giant monster's the birds because
Yep.
the birds fly down and like.
That was
King Ghidorah.
terrifying.
King
as a
Ghidorah.
So
kid.
scary.
Yeah.
I got scared of birds. I was
Yeah,
like, they're gonna
mhm.
come and get me.
Yeah.
Saving Private Ryan.
Okay.
Is that the one with Tom Hanks?
Yes, Tom
Okay.
Hanks.
Where he
Matt
tries to
Damon.
like shoot the tank.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it became a huge meme.
That makes sense. I was like, why is that one scene in particular jumping
Because
out
it's
of
a
it?
meme.
Right.
The movie Armageddon. That was that kind of surprised me, but I was like, it was.
Why is, I mean, Bruce Willis is on it,
That's true.
and it's the late 90s.
Ben
so-
Affleck was in it. I Don't Want to Miss a Thing was everywhere because of that movie by Aerosmith.
Oh, really?
That song, yeah.
That's-
if you YouTube it, the entire music video is that movie.
Oh wow.
So-
Because doesn't spoiler alert Bruce Willis die?
Yes,
Yeah.
he does. And it's pretty brutal because Liv Tyler's like, "Daddy," and he's just like, "I'll see you later, darling." And all the dads in the theater are just crying.
And then Steven Tyler just shredding on a guitar.
And then the last one is a movie called "There's Something About Mary."
Oh, I've heard. of
Oh, my mom loved that movie.
That my
that's
dad
definitely
loved.
like
it.
a
I've never
mom
seen it.
movie.
Yeah, it's Ben Stiller and Cameron Diaz where
Oh, I
he
can-
he ruins a date in high school, and then after college they meet up, and he wants to like go on a date with her, and all these other guys have always wanted to go on a date with her. So it's him and a bunch of weird dudes trying to date her.
Interesting.
And it was made by the same guys that made Dumb and Dumber. Wrote it and
Oh,
directed it.
that's unique.
Yeah.
All right, so let me hear guests list.
Yeah,
What do you think?
walk us through. Go from number 1 to 5.
Yep.
In the order that you picked. What do you think grossed the most money? And then I'll give you my number 1.
Saving Private Ryan.
Okay, so that's number 1.
I was really close to picking that. I have Armageddon at number 1.
Okay. What's your number 2?
I'll do Armageddon at number 2.
And I will do Saving Private Ryan at number 2.
Okay. What's your number 3?
Godzilla.
What's your number 3?
You know, I feel like Bug's Life beats out Godzilla. So
Really?
I'm gonna say I think
Interesting.
so, yeah. I think so.
Because Bug's Life came out on Thanksgiving. Oh my God, I just
How
remembered
do you
that.
remember that?
I just remembered that. Like, it literally, like,
Did
we were
you
talking.
go?
I don't, maybe. I don't know what just happened. You said that, and my brain went, Bug's Life coming this Thanksgiving. I just, like, had a flashback.
You just had like a core memory of Tane.
I gotta call someone.
Jeez.
Freaked me out for a second.
Yeah, like a That's So Raven. Like,
Yeah, I did,
you
seriously.
did.
That was freaky.
welcome back.
Hi. Hi,
Hey.
Amy. Welcome to the podcast.
Glad to be here.
At least you didn't stop and go, where am I?
Okay. 4?
Where are we?
Four.
4?
4. Yeah, 4.
Something About Mary.
Okay. Jared?
I have Godzilla at 4.
All right. And 5.
Bug's Life.
Something About Mary.
Wow.
You both did really well.
Did
Oh,
we? Air
Air
5.
seriously.
Wow.
Number 1 is Armageddon.
Let's go.
Okay.
So you got that.
Bruce Willis dying on a space rock. It's hard to beat that.
It was
I feel like.
it was a filled cast too. It's always
Oh.
on FX. Number 2 is Saving Private Ryan.
Okay.
Number 3 is Godzilla. Amy.
Oh, A.
Yeah, man. That surprised me. Number 4 was There's Something About Mary.
Hey.
5 was
5 was A Bug's Life.
Hey.
no.
So-
Bug's Life was so good.
It is.
It's such
It
a
is.
good movie.
So
But
I
I
would have
think-
gotten that list wrong though. I would have done worse than you.
I think I feel like I chose Saving Private Ryan as number 1 because I literally hear Saving Private Ryan. Everybody's just seen it.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
See, that's
Um,
how I felt about Armageddon. Like, that's a movie I feel like I've heard a lot. I've seen
Yeah.
it maybe once, but I've heard a lot of
Mhm.
people use that movie as like a comparison.
Oh,
Where they're
okay.
like, oh, the movie was so sad, but not like Armageddon
That's
sad.
true.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm like, what are you talking about?
Yeah. No.
But yeah, the Bug's Life I thought would be way higher on the list because I feel like
Mhm.
in times past where we've played that game, like Minions 19 is like always top 3.
Yes.
And it's
Yeah.
Or
infuriating.
Ice Age 4 was in our top
Ice
5
Age
for
4.
2012.
Really?
What did
That
that-
made
yeah.
him, he was like,
Ah.
if Ice Age 4 is number 1 in 2012, I'm gonna lose it.
Yeah.
I
Ice
just-
Age.
There's like the other movies on that list I felt like I needed to advocate for through the form of rage.
Yeah. I understand.
Yeah, it was shocking. But so Parent Trap, do you know where Parent Trap lands
I don't.
on
I-
that list?
I didn't see where it landed. I could pull up my phone and look.
Oh,
No,
does
that's
that mean
okay.
it's like far down there?
Probably.
Oh, so good.
Well, it's interesting too because like the thing that we've realized with playing this game is movies that are like either remakes or sequels, even if it's
Oh.
like without a doubt a crappier movie.
Yeah.
People are just so hyped
Yeah.
to go and see it that it just like inevitably ends up making more money. Like what
Yeah.
was it? It was Terminator 3,
Yeah.
I think, which is if you haven't seen it, don't.
Don't. It's awful.
Don't.
Never.
It
Okay.
was really
Horrible.
bad.
Yeah.
It was
Okay.
really bad.
But it followed such a powerful franchise
Uh-huh.
that 2 was so good. People were like,
Number
"Oh,
1,
it's
yeah.
got to be
It's
so
gonna be-
great."
yeah.
And
No.
No.
It was
They
like
were in
number
for it.
5.
Yeah. That's like Shrek. They should have stopped at Shrek.
Yeah.
I don't
I
like
like Shrek
2
too.
and 3.
I like
Yeah.
2, yeah. It's bad. It's not. I'm
so,
not proud of
so
it.
bad.
He's got a weird
so
Shrek
good.
thing.
Yeah.
I feel like there's some movies though that like it like ends up being its own like universe.
Mm.
Marvel is probably the example that makes the
Yeah.
most sense, but there's other movies that do that too. Like
Yeah.
Breaking
Mm.
Bad is probably the more recent one with Better Call Saul, where
Yeah.
like
Oh yeah.
even if the universe isn't that in depth like Marvel is, where it's like, okay, you have to watch Doctor Strange 17 before you can start this TV show.
Yeah.
Like there's some movies that people just like there's a cult following
Mhm.
for, and
Yeah.
it's like it's kind of scary.
Yes.
What I've liked with this game so far, especially with the guests, is
Mhm.
is seeing like, do people still remember this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like talking about Bug's Life or talking about some of these movies. It's like, do people still remember this? So
You sure remembered Bug's Life.
it was weird, man. Like I don't know what happened. I just like,
I love that
flashback.
so much.
I was
Yeah.
just like, wait a second, I'm eating ranch sandwiches. I've actually never said that before.
Ranch sandwich.
Is that a thing?
Let's pause. Please explain in great detail.
I was a dumb kid and I was at nursery school and someone said, Czar, you should not eat sandwiches with ranch. And I went, I really like them. And so I kept eating ranch sandwiches and I got full. And I think my parents asked me, like, what'd you eat? And I said, ranch sandwiches.
Like bread,
Yeah,
ranch in the middle.
Yeah.
Good.
And I ate them.
Wow.
And I think my parents were like, all right, so we're gonna get your head checked out. We're gonna see how he can remember movie stuff, but he eats ranch sandwiches.
I'm the kid in the corner that's like, put ranch on it. Put ranch on it.
Some kids eat glue. I ate ranch sandwiches.
Well, the funny thing about that is I can totally like see your thought process as a kid where you're like, sandwich good. Ranch good. Yeah. Ranch sandwich.
I've actually never admitted that.
I feel like at some point everyone's done that with something. Like I remember I really liked trout, just like fish.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I also really liked peanut butter.
Oh no.
Oh,
Well, so my uncle, he would put like tuna and stuff like on a cracker.
yeah.
And he'd do,
Normal.
like hot sauce. So I'm like,
Okay.
slap some peanut butter on that bad boy. And it's gonna be
That's
great.
so
And it's so thick.
Did you like it?
Absolutely not. No, it was the flavor value was there. The consistency was very
That's
strange.
bad.
That's brutal.
Yeah.
I mean, both are weird. I'm not saying mine's normal. I'm not saying mine's normal and yours
I don't
isn't.
know which ones were. Well, Jessica. Back to Jessica.
Oh yeah.
Let's
yeah,
talk
please.
about her.
Yeah.
She's great.
Hi, Jessica. if you're watching.
Hello.
We would make, dude, what was it? Like she's here. We did applesauce and mac and cheese. That was really good.
Wait,
I could
together?
Together.
I could kind of.
Can you
see
get down with that?
I'd try it.
It was good. It was so good.
I'd try it.
Yeah. Okay.
I would watch someone eat it.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
but at the same time, I can't be too harsh because another thing that we eat, which actually feel like is kind of common, is peach and cottage cheese.
That's so
Yeah,
good.
That's really
It's
cool.
really-
Yeah.
But if you look at it, it looks.
Not
Yes.
great.
But then again,
Yes.
like anything with cottage cheese is not gonna look
It's
great.
not now.
So
It's
was
the
it
cottage
just-
cheese that's
Was
bringing
it
it
just
down.
applesauce and mac and cheese, or was there
Yes.
any just that one?
No. Oh, we did put mac and cheese in a tortilla one night. That was pretty good.
That's like a stoner idea. Like, that's a real.
I promise we were not.
No.
We were
That's
I don't know.
fried.
That's
We might have been actually.
a great. God, now I want to try mac and
No,
cheese.
Well, I
you
feel like
do
you
it.
throw something in a tortilla, I could probably get behind that.
Oh yeah.
Especially if it's something I like. Like I went to Hawaii recently.
Welcome to the food
Well,
cast.
Well, yeah, welcome to the Food Network. And they had sushi burritos.
Those are
heard of
so
that.
good. You haven't had one?
No, I did
Oh,
in
you
Hawaii
did.
for the
You
first
did.
time.
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
And it basically was like I felt like absolute American because I was like sushi, but more.
Yes.
And wrap it in something. And I'm gonna eat it with my hands.
Yeah.
But it was so
It is.
good.
It's such a weird concept, but so good.
It is. Yeah. When someone said sushi burrito, I remember
Mhm.
like kind of scoffing. I was like,
Mm.
oh, that doesn't sound good. And then in my mind, I was like, I need to look that up later.
Try
that.
Just Google sushi burrito nearest location. It just keeps searching. 3 hours later, it's still searching.
You're gonna look at my phone later. It's gonna say ranch sandwiches near
Where
me.
can I get one of those?
Oh, man.
Okay, so back
This is
to-
why
Anywho.
if you eat ranch sandwiches, you end up doing a movie podcast.
Yeah, I guess so.
It's
I
all
need to
that
get me one of
ranch does to
those.
them with your brain. So hang on. Before we get back to the movie, here's a critical question: Are we talking Hidden Valley,
Yes.
or are you getting weird
Wow.
with it?
It was Hidden Valley.
Okay.
Because they didn't scrimp on their ranch at this nursery.
That's
So-
good.
That's so funny. I remember another thing too on the food topic is as a kid, I hated wasting time.
Okay.
Apparently, I was very busy as a child.
Uh-huh.
You're like, I got the board meeting at 5. I am
Exactly.
boss baby.
Yeah, you want me to put that whole damn Lincoln Log set together, and you expect me to also eat dinner and be in bed by 7?
And do my
Not happening.
spreadsheets.
Yeah. So I would combine food, as is what my mom tells me, and so what I ended up doing is she would give me like cheese and crackers with like milk, and I would drop it all into my milk, and then I would just slam it like a shot. And apparently one time it didn't taste very good because
I wonder.
my dad was just watching me like do this. And he's like, "Oh, there's my beautiful smart son." As I'm like, cheese, milk, goldfish, milk. And he just apparently let me do it. And I like took a sip and I made a weird face, but I went back again.
Wow,
and then just
dedication.
projectile. Big time. Yeah.
No.
And then I don't think my dad has looked at me the same.
He's like, all right, so I'm gonna get rid of the college fund.
Yeah, cool. Because he'll tell me too, like when I eat food, he'll say like, "We're not in a hurry. Like, don't feel like you're in a rush." I'm like, "Dad,
You scarred him.
I did apparently, yeah." All right, so I think the best question to ask next is absolute favorite scene
So
from The Parent Trap. That's the movie that we're reviewing, by the way.
we're not reviewing ranch sandwiches.
Although I would fund and produce that movie.
Someone probably is right now.
Yeah, as long as it had like a really theatrical, like almost Transformers-esque soundtrack. Okay,
Super suspenseful.
we're already tangenting.
Does he make the sandwich? Does he not make the sandwich?
Yeah, FX.
One boy.
Only on FX.
Okay, all right, here we go. Thank
Okay.
you, thank you.
So, thank you.
Okay,
We're gonna
Zara.
record that, and then when we tangent, we're gonna press it. Stop it.
Yeah. Okay, favorite scene.
So my favorite scene, it's right near the beginning, and it's got to be the gambling scene, the poker scene, when she's totally cleaning up shop, and then other Lindsay Lohan walks in with a leather jacket and Bad to the Bone starts playing, and she has all that money, because it made me think of Terminator 2, and I imagined Arnold Schwarzenegger walking in and going, "I've got $20 on her," and sitting next to like all these other kids and being like, "I think she's got a good hand." Just as bad to the bones.
I love that you can draw a connection from Terminator to the
Parent
Trap.
Trap.
You're like, this one scene in particular really reminds me of The Shining.
It was awesome though, because I was just like, I thought about T2, but then I was watching it and I was like, this is the one scene that I remember as a kid, because I was like, oh my God, who's gonna win?
Yeah.
Like the stakes were raised, which is like you got to skinny dip or you got to do this, and it's like the stakes were high. And I was like, oh God,
And then they end up stealing their clothes.
dude.
That was like kind of racy, I feel like, for a Disney movie.
Yeah, there was like some like the isolation cabin. Like I was watching it and I was like, you would end up on the news.
You know what's
like, it'd be
funny?
like,
Yes.
you're like, as a parent, it would be like, wait a second, the what cabin?
I know.
Yeah.
I was thinking that too. My kid came home and I went to the isolation cabin. I sat at the isolation table. Like, what are you supposed to think?
God, that sounds really bad. Please describe to me in great detail what happened.
Oh my gosh.
Well, so it's so funny you mentioned that. So where my brain went when they talked about the isolation cabin was Survivor.
Yeah.
And I was waiting for Jeff Probst to walk out.
Challengers.
Yeah, exactly. Got nothing for you. Good night. And then just force them away.
So did you guys did you go to summer camp?
Not
Because-
once.
Oh, really? Because like when I was watching this, I was like, there are no adults. Like they're like all of the sticky, like the honey on the ground, and all of the like elaborate prank. I was like, when I was a kid, like there was an adult that would do bunk checks. They would like look in and be like, all right, everybody's here. I'm gonna be next door. Like there's no way we would be able to do any of that.
So
Yeah,
let's pause.
okay.
Let's pause real quick. Hang on.
Great, because I'm still thinking of my favorite scene.
Go for it.
Scary.
Yeah.
And it was on top of a hill.
So,
They had to trek up there.
it's like, what about like monsoon season? Because it's all the rain hitting.
Yes.
Like, there's some like nails that are sticking out.
Oh, for sure. Did anyone ever check on them? No.
No. We gotta hold it. We gotta wait. There's. We gotta save it. It's so good. The what, Kevin?
Let's don't talk.
KEZ I9 News.
God.
I'm Chris Stapleton.
Yeah.
1 cabin, 8 kids.
I had to go to the isolation cabin.
Oh my God.
See, I was talking about Harry Potter, and all of a sudden I'm in the isolation cabin.
Oh my
And then there were some girls playing poker. It got really weird, Mom.
What does that probably happen? Okay.
I am so glad we're doing this episode. I didn't plan any of this.
movie.
Okay. So favorite scene, just to recap, yours was the poker scene.
Yeah, because the isolation cabin.
It's gold. It's so funny.
I liked how the stakes were really high between them, and it's like it showed their personalities where like she was really prim and proper and the other like wasn't.
With a leather jacket.
Yeah, exactly. Came in with a leather jacket. It was like, oh wow, she's not proper.
She's wearing a leather jacket. She has bad intentions.
She's a wild child.
Yeah. I feel like as a kid though, I would try and do that and I would not have that level of confidence.
Mm-hmm.
Like I remember I had a baseball jersey that I loved from the Dodgers, I think, and I would put it on, be like, oh, this looks so cool. And I'd leave the house and be like, I gotta go change really quick.
But you did have the Denver Broncos beanie.
Every day.
Every day. But we're talking about Parent Trap.
Okay.
This is the one time I'll acknowledge it on the podcast. And maybe I'll still cut it out at the end. I don't know what it was, but that thing, it was just like it was like a safety cap.
Yeah.
I feel like
I think so too.
where it was like, I don't really know what I should say. There's a lot of people around me. And
I'm just gonna put this on.
I'm just gonna put this on. And then I vividly remember, I think it was like 8th grade, where it was like, and remember I would wear it and it would be like 80 degrees outside, and I would just be like beating down. And then one day I was like, you know what? I think I'll get a haircut.
Nice.
And I just won't have it on. And it was like, and then I remember too frantically looking for it, and then my mom, come to find out, had hid it from me, which is probably a good
She
thing.
really.
Yeah.
Okay.
And but yeah, that thing still haunts me to this day.
So you don't know where it is?
No, I have it just in case.
I have a really important meeting that I need to
Exactly. If I could get everyone's attention, please. Okay, but favorite scene, Amy. Favorite scene.
Okay, I was racking my brain on this because this is the scene just popped up when you said favorite scene. I'm like, there's no way, because I don't know why. But when I forget, I can't tell them apart. They're twins.
Oh yeah, just go with it.
The girl
Yeah.
comes to the house.
Lindsay Lohan.
But
Oh,
Jessie,
yes.
so it's the one with the dad at the time, the one that switched to the dad. So really the proper girl, but she's not being proper right now. Anyways.
I know exactly what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
okay, so she
We're following.
comes and Chessie knows. She knows because the dog was acting weird
Oh,
and
she
she didn't
wouldn't
like her
eat
favorite
anything?
meals. Yes.
Oh,
She ate
that's
like
right,
a
yeah.
piece of toast and there's this
Yes.
whole buffet.
Uh-huh.
I would have went hard.
I hate that in movies because I'm like, I would be the person that would be like, hold on a second. and
All
just,
of the
like,
food. Yes.
Yeah, I would just shovel into my mouth.
it'd be like
Yeah.
Scooby Doo, just.
All of it. You don't even have to pay for it. Like, it's just good. So yes, she Chessie knew, and Dennis Quaid comes. I think it was like before Dennis Quaid comes, and she was like 11 pounds, 6 ounces.
Oh, that's a
Can
really
I hug her?
That's
Yes.
a really good scene.
Oh yeah.
And then
and then
stuff
she tries hiding it.
Yes.
She's like, I missed her so much.
Yep. Don't look at me. I don't know a thing.
Yeah.
That's
Chessie,
a
all
really
the
good
way.
scene.
That was a really, really good scene.
I love how she read it though. She's like,
Yeah.
you are not who you're. Are you
Uh-huh.
an alien?
Yes.
Like
she knew something was up.
something's
Well,
weird about
I
you.
feel like if I was a parent and I had twins, no clue.
Yeah.
But it's
right?
it's so messed up that it's like, oh, we had twins. We're gonna just
Let's just
split them
separate-
up. We're
How
not gonna
would you-
talk about it at all.
Yeah.
Like nothing. Like that would be.
Wouldn't
and
you wonder where your child is? What they're yeah.
There's another
Yeah.
movie about this.
that's a drama.
That's a drama, and the other twins is psychopath.
Oh.
exactly. And it's on
Oh.
TikTok.
Oh.
It's not real. There should
No,
be
no.
though. It should be a thing.
No.
So yeah, my scene. I maybe should have went next because mine's not as wholesome.
Yeah, I got
mine-
deep.
Yeah, mine was
That's a
more
great
of
one,
like
though.
something I would have loved to have done myself, which is where they push their evil stepmother out into the middle of the lake. Because at the time, my dad was dating Donnie. Hi, Donnie, evil stepmother. And I just remember thinking like that. is
Great
so
idea.
good.
It's like Shark Tank. You're like, I'm in.
Yeah. Yeah. I just had that like awe-inspiring moment of like, I understand my purpose.
They did it.
They did
I
it.
can't believe they did
And
it.
it was so, it just made sense. It's an air mattress. It has air. It floats.
Yeah. Like
People
she's
sleep on it.
fine. Uh-huh.
Right. Yeah. It's not like she's going to die.
Right. She's gonna get the hell out of there.
Right. And I just remember watching that as a kid at my dad's house at that time, and I was sitting there going like Mr. Burns from The Simpsons, like excellent.
You're like, write that down. Write that down.
Yeah, I was like, so many pounds of pressure of air into the air mattress, perfect. Okay, this lake, blah, blah, yeah. But I just like I liked it because it's one of those movies, especially that scene in particular, where it's like a plan just hatches and comes together. That will never happen,
Right.
in reality. But as a kid, I'm like,
so good,
that just was
though.
so easy.
Yeah.
I was watching it and I was like, what if she couldn't swim?
She probably couldn't.
Like that's the thing.
Yeah.
Like, or like, do they know how deep the lake is?
Yeah.
Because it's like if she can't swim, because she comes up on the beach and Dennis Quaid is just kind of like, silly girls. They're so silly.
Yes.
Instead of like, oh my God, are you okay?
Uh-huh.
Like you could have drowned. Girls, you could end up in juvie, guys.
It's definitely not a realistic scene because she realistically comes on the beach and goes, "What the fuck?" Like freaks out.
Or like they're putting rocks in her bag.
Yes.
They're like, we want you to have back problems. They like take her credit card and just start swiping random places. It's like, wow, they're going for the long game.
Yeah. I would even say those series of scenes where they're just like screwing with her is so
Yeah.
They
good.
shoved like there was like a
Like,
chameleon in her
uh-huh.
mouth. I was
Yeah.
like, oh God.
Yeah.
Yeah, was that the one where it like crawls into her hair?
Yes. It's like
yeah.
in her hair and then it goes down her face, in her mouth.
That scene in particular, I'm curious your
Stresses me
reaction to
out.
it when you saw it for the first time because you're notoriously afraid of rats.
Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of them. I did.
As like there's fans out there. I personally really like rats.
There are.
I know people who love rats.
I did see something where rats were saving people, so that kind of
I
changes my opinion on it.
know people that are rats.
We are the rats. You're like,
But so like
you're
I-
like, so I'm friends with a penguin.
yeah. So let me just ask you this: how, like, let's say you're an evil stepmother. Okay,
Yeah.
close your eyes. Evil stepmother.
I'm channeling it.
You're channeling it.
I'm wearing dead dog fur like Cruella Deville.
Perfect. And you you're obviously not the parent of these kids. You're the stepmom, but they put a rat in your hair. How do you
Dude.
react? Naturally, how do you react?
I would yell, I would jump back, and I'd probably be like, dude, your daughters put an animal in my hair. Like,
I feel like somebody's gonna
Yes.
catch a right.
I would be like, I'm done. Like,
yeah.
I'm going home. Like, you know what? You can live with your demon children and end up on the news. Like, I'm really excited for the first 48 or the Netflix docuseries that's going to come out about all three of you.
The second I get home, I'm calling HBO.
Have fun as a country bumpkin.
Well, the thing that I always applaud you for is like whenever you're in a situation or things you don't like, you just like you told me this. You're like, as an adult, we can just leave.
Mhm.
Like we can just totally
True.
disappear. I feel like you maybe do it a little bit too extreme.
Too much, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, it's just something like it's kind of dark, but like as a kid, I couldn't leave anywhere. It was like, no, you're gonna wait until we leave. But as an adult, I'm like, if I'm in a really bad situation, there's the door. I could literally just go.
Yeah.
Like I could like, oh, you don't like your job? The door's right. You can just literally walk out.
Czar also notoriously does not pay at the end of eating. Check, please. I'm just gonna hit the road.
There's the door right there.
I'm not a kid. I can just leave.
I always thought though with movies like these that like I don't know any parent that like got divorced and then their kids like got them back together, because there's a bunch of like Yours, Mine,
That's a
and
good point.
Ours, Cheaper by the Dozen, I think, like a whole bunch of kids movies where it's like our parents got divorced, we're gonna like majority of them starring Hilary Duff,
Yeah.
but
Right,
like
yeah.
trying to get like the parents back together. So it was just like, it was interesting watching it and just being like, so what happens after this movie ends? Because there was a reason that they probably got divorced.
Yep.
So it's like,
Yeah.
so
They're at dinner on the cruise and go, so you still cheated?
Yeah, and throw the blow dryer. She threw a blow dryer at him.
Yeah,
Probably
I
gonna do it
still
again
have that
tonight.
scar.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's so funny when you like try and like make something that is a movie like realistic.
Yeah.
Because the other thing too is like they obviously ended up getting along and like doing stuff together and things like that. But like having a sibling, like me and my brother could not be in the same room together. Like we just despised each other.
yes, as we know.
Yeah. And so like I feel like there's also a very short movie where they go to camp and they just hate each other and then nothing happens.
And then it just
Yeah.
ends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other thing too that I was curious about for both of you guys is, so in this movie, the one person, I'm just curious if you would cast them differently.
Oh.
So if you were to replace it with someone else, and that person is Dennis Quaid, would you have a different dad? Would you keep him? Is there another actor that comes to mind?
Yes. Bill Paxton, if you've ever seen Twister, or
Oh yeah.
he's done a bunch of stuff. I'd have to think about like what everybody's seen him from.
Yeah.
But he plays very much like the everyman, like the construction worker.
Right.
Like he but he's also really kind in a lot of movies where he plays the nice construction worker who is usually a divorced dad. So he does the divorced dad really well.
He nails that.
Like I think his agent was like, "Hey, Bill, we got another divorced dad coming at you."
Jackpot. What about you, Amy? Would you replace him with anyone else?
No.
No?
I really like him. I like him on Footloose, like the remake of Footloose.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
He
He
was
was the dad
really-
on that.
Yeah, he was like the pastor dad.
Yep.
That he
mhm.
was
He's
really
just
good in
so
that.
wholesome. Yep.
Yeah, Dennis Quaid definitely
He's
wholesome.
great. Yeah. Nope. Wouldn't replace him.
So the reason why I asked you guys this is I found a Reddit thread.
Oh.
Are you ready for
Okay.
this?
Yeah.
Go for it.
The dad was almost Bryan Cranston,
That
Can
which
you tell
is
me who that is?
the guy from Breaking Bad,
and from
Heisenberg.
Malcolm in the Middle. The dad from Malcolm in the Middle. No.
No.
He
I
can
saw
either
that.
play too goofy or way too serious.
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
He would have known that wasn't his daughter. Like there would have been no
Exactly.
movie if he was the dad.
Yeah. I saw that and I'm
the
like,
pranks that you both did. You're both grounded until forever.
yeah. I read that, but it was a serious thread. Like people are like, oh, well,
Wow.
he could have brought Bob, and I just started laughing uncontrollably.
Oh, yeah.
Because I'm like, there's a scene where he doesn't own a vineyard.
He owns an empire.
Yeah, he owns a meth laboratory.
In his RV.
Yeah, and he
Uh-huh.
keeps getting interrupted, and it's a whole different movie again.
Yeah. No, that
No.
wouldn't. No.
It would not. But apparently, and this
That's
also could just totally
crazy.
be like hearsay, but like he was potentially being casted. Like audition was like
Oh.
potential, because like we did Back to the Future
we
where
did.
they actually shot what 40-50% of the movie
Mhm.
with what's the guy's
Literally
name?
can't remember his name.
something 80s actor
Mm.
Yeah.
instead of Michael J. Fox.
Mm.
And Robert Zemeckis was basically like, I don't care how much it costs, we have to
Yeah.
get this guy out of
Eric
here. 'cause-
Stoltz.
Eric Stoltz, yeah.
Yeah.
Because he wasn't adding like any comedic value as like Michael J. Fox did.
Mm-hmm.
And so in this movie, I was like, what would be like the hang up where they're like, Heisenberg, you're just like,
Just-
it's just
you're
too
not
serious.
it.
You're way too
You're not it,
serious, man.
man.
This
Yeah.
this is not the type of movie you think you're going for.
No.
It's
Yeah,
like
wow.
to put it in perspective, both girls fence and one of them falls in the water. That's how serious it is.
Yeah.
They don't drown. Nothing bad happens to
And
them.
Meredith Blake doesn't drown
Yeah.
after
Is that-
she's in the
so,
lake.
so when do they drown?
When-
It's like, okay, great job. Don't call us. We'll call you.
Yeah. I feel like there's a scene where she falls off the mattress and she's like struggling to swim. And one of the kids goes to chase after her and he goes,
And then it cuts to guilty.
Yeah.
And then Lindsay Lohan becomes a badass in Juvie.
Yeah.
I want to see this movie.
I kind of want to see that too now.
So, okay, another question I'm curious about is also altering the movie in kind of a way, which is pulling out a scene that you maybe didn't feel like it was necessary, or just maybe didn't add to the plot, or maybe just in general didn't like it. But we ask this question in every episode because it's just interesting to see people who really, really love a movie trying to figure out what they would
take out.
What they would take out. And so I'll start with you, Zara. What do you think?
It's actually kind of hard with this one because there are really important scenes.
Yeah.
It's difficult, yeah.
Here we go. It's when Dennis Quaid is trying to tell the prim and proper Lindsay Lohan that he's getting married to her, and then she's like, "See you later, Dad," and gets on the horse and rides off. And the only reason why is because it's when plots, like writers will be like, "Oh, hi. So in this part of the story, a character is not going to say this important piece of information, and we're going to wait an hour, and then it's going to be revealed," when you could have just been like, "Oh yeah, me and her, we're getting married."
Right.
So like that scene when I was just like, oh my, like it's just so, it's really cliche. Like it could have just been like, "Hey, by the way, we're getting married." Married.
Now that you say it out loud, the way you explained it is so crazy.
He's just like, well,
see you later, Dad.
Yeah. That's such a good point.
Oh, now I hate that scene.
The other thing too I found out in that scene is Lindsay Lohan is definitely allergic to horses.
Really?
Oh yeah, how'd you find that out?
Stunt double?
Having a movie podcast, you learn a lot of weird shit.
Yeah.
But I was like, everyone was like talking about it, and apparently they had shot it like multiple times, and there was like backlash potentially because she was like having a reaction.
Oh.
The director was like, "Oh, it's making you look more upset."
Disney's like,
"Don't do it. Keep her riding the horse. Rub the horse." Yeah. Yeah, but it's kind of interesting. Okay. So scene you would remove. What are your thoughts, Amy?
Okay, so that scene where the prim and proper, well, no, what do we call him? Bad to the bone.
Yeah,
Lindsay
bad to the bone.
is
Yes,
now
leather
with-
jacket. Lindsay
Okay,
Lohan.
leather jacket is with Mom, and Mom's like, "Do you mind if we go over to my wedding shop?" And she's like, "Oh," and they go over, and it's just that photo shoot, and she's just sitting there, and it's like a top hat, and I don't even know what. I guess she's trying to sell the dress, and she's just like, "My mom is so cool," and it's just like,
oh, that's so that
No, she's not Lindsay Lohan.
sit down.
Yeah.
She's a starving artist.
Yeah. That's a good scene to remove.
Yeah,
I
take it away.
definitely thought about that one. For me, I remember talking to my grandma about this when I saw the movie, and it's the scene at the very, very end where they're on the boat, like whole thing. They're like, "Oh, we're gonna get married again," and I went to my grandma and I was like, "I don't know, I just didn't buy it." But I like it for me too, because like the Parent Trap. The reason why I love it so much is because sympathy points. I come from a broken home.
Me too.
Yeah, up top.
That's why we have. You know what happens when you come from a broken home? You start a podcast.
You start a podcast. But yeah, it just like, and then we had talked about this earlier, but it's like all of the stuff that caused the separation definitely still happens. And it's like, I feel like to a degree, they're like, okay, I know I cheated on you, but we can't talk about it in front of them. So they need to leave and then we can solve our problems. But it's like, again, to what you said, like what happens after the movie ends?
Yeah.
Like
credits roll and they still have a big problem.
Right.
What
Yeah.
school? Yeah.
Oh,
Where are they
school?
gonna live? What school are they gonna go to?
Another divorce.
Yeah. Yes. Let's just leave again.
Let's just
Yeah.
uproot our life.
Yeah.
This could be a Netflix series, I feel like.
I wonder why
I'm
they
so
haven't
ready.
done that. Yeah.
I'm sure there's some guy that went to Netflix and is like, okay, have you seen the remade Parent Trap? You're going to want to sit down.
I don't know, like, it was so good for its time. Like, I don't know if you could remake it, really.
I don't. Yeah.
Like, I couldn't see anyone remaking Freaky Friday. Like, there's just certain movies that, like, for Parent Trap, it's like, who would you even choose?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing about some movies that we've seen too, where it's like it is really, really good, but then movies that like did try that, there are some horror stories.
Yeah.
Like we talked about The Mask 2. Like I didn't even realize The Mask had another movie
because it was so bad.
because it was so bad.
Yeah.
And then Dumb and Dumber did a recent remake with Jim Carrey and Jeff Daniels, but there was one before that.
Yeah, called like Dumb and Dumberer.
Yeah.
I thought that isn't there like 5 or is there only 2?
Who
I
knows?
felt like they just kept
exactly.
coming.
Exactly.
But I feel like there was a point, like, and the problem we're dealing with now, I feel like in Hollywood, is original ideas
Yeah.
are far and few between.
Mm-hmm.
And this is something we had talked about too, is like when you're pitching a movie, now you have all these streaming services.
Yeah.
To a degree, I feel like, and I have no idea if this is true, but like you have to take a loan out, I imagine, right? On like millions and millions of dollars on a budget. So if you say, hey, I'm making this 19th Incredible Hulk movie that is guaranteed to make all this money,
Yeah.
it's just a much easier sell than like, hey, so there's this movie in the late 90s.
Yeah,
And
it's
like,
we're gonna take an actress and we can actually clone her now. We don't need to use CGI, which the CGI looks really good in this movie. Still.
does, yeah.
Yeah.
I still think it looks really good.
Yeah.
Did you guys
do
ever
too.
watch the original?
I
did not,
tried. I got
no.
like 10 minutes into it.
So the original did this thing where it was like a faint line that would cut in the middle of the screen, and it would be the same actor on both sides.
That's pretty cool.
So it was like split screen in Call of Duty,
Uh.
basically. And I remember I was talking to a coworker about that because they loved that movie.
Yeah.
And they were like, it was like cutting edge technology. And I'm like, really? Because it looked pretty shitty to me. But it was like,
To each their own.
they would just cut like one side very apparently, and then they would just pop up on the other side. It's like, is that a different person?
And you know that back then that took them like 10 hours. So they're staring at this picture of someone and they're just like, nope, it's off. Nope, it's off.
Yeah. I the thing too is it's like at what point do you like are just okay with like the type of like I guess the way you're showing it to the audience?
Yeah.
Where we talk about that too in like the Terminator, the first Terminator movie. There was like such an iconic scene where he's looking at himself in the mirror as he like cuts into his arm to like fix his like mechanics, which is like very clearly a dummy.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
in the 80s, people are like, oh my God, how is he doing that?
How is he doing?
Yeah.
I saw him on the red carpet and there was no cut.
Yeah. Where's the skull, Arnold? Yeah. But it's like if you took Transformers, Nick Swartzen has this joke. If you
Yes.
took Transformers and you had people in the 50s watch it, their brain would explode.
Yeah, they're
like,
like,
and then you just go, based on a true story.
I don't remember.
Yeah, but I agree. I think with this movie, it really did feel like it was two different people. And like
Yeah.
I said at the beginning, as a kid, totally sold.
Yep.
Totally sold.
And it's a time
For sure.
capsule.
It is. It definitely is. So, very last question I'll ask is if you were to rate the movie on a scale of 1 to 10, where does it land? 1 to 10.
Even though it's one of my favorite movies, probably 5.
Oh, okay. That's lower than I thought.
Only because it's so unbelievable.
Yeah.
Like
I was sold the whole time.
As kids, yes, but Rotten
Yes.
Tomatoes are they're mean, and
Yeah.
I'm sure they got like a 2 on there. But
I didn't check. I should look.
No,
should look.
I think the
it's
audience
like-
was better than the critics.
Yeah, I'll
Like,
just
the
throw it
audience
up on
is
screen right
us,
now.
Like
Yeah.
us being like, this is so good.
what about our parents? What did our parents think?
Oh,
We were all like eating that shit up, but what were they thinking?
They were probably like, this is the worst movie I've ever
exactly.
seen.
Yes.
My parents weren't thinking that. They were cleaning. They just pop it in and be like, hey, stupid child. Pretty lights. There you go. Daddy's got to do the dishes.
Yeah, that's so true. That's so interesting. A
I
5. So, walk me through what a 10 looks like.
Yeah,
What's
what do you
what's a
consider
10
Uh,
in Amy's world?
A 10 in Amy's world.
The original Parent Trap.
Oh. God, no. Like I said, I only made it 10 minutes.
True.
It's
True. It was
bad.
so good you couldn't handle it.
Exactly. 10, I think like captivating.
Like a page
Just-
turner. Yeah.
Yeah. And like it's predictable. You know they're gonna get back together. They shouldn't, but you know they do.
What's a movie you
So
consider a 10?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Great Gatsby.
Great
Great
Gatsby.
Yeah.
Gatsby. I remember you talking about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Leonardo
Mhm.
DiCaprio one?
Yes.
That's pretty good.
That one
yeah,
is really good.
That is a page turner.
Yeah,
Mhm.
for sure.
Yeah.
It moves.
But I love it, but it's probably
That would have been funny if you're like, it's a 2. I actually hate it. This movie sucks.
I just thought it'd be
I
funny.
just thought it was funny to talk
I just
about.
wanted
This
you
is a
idiots to
prank.
watch it. Yeah. So for me, scale of 1 to 10, I think that there's a lot of different factors that this movie gets that other movies don't, which is like nostalgia. So like Sandlot is gonna get like a penalty that like raise it big time because it has that factor too. So this for me, I would agree. I think like a 4.5, 5, because the unfortunate thing is watching it again, I was like, why? Like
that's the thing.
Yeah. I was like, oh, I remember this, but then I was like, oh, this is so great, and I'm like, this doesn't make any sense.
You have to turn your brain off.
Yes,
yeah. You just have to take it as what it is and stop asking questions.
Yes.
I think like as a kid, I was like, oh, it's a 7. It's so good, and maybe my parents will actually like. But as
you're thinking, it's like, Dad. So in the Parent Trap, they were sisters, but then they weren't sisters.
And then I go, Dad, Ohana means family. Family means no one gets left behind.
Stop.
I'm kidding, Dad. I love you. I'm kidding. I would give. I'm with you. Like a 4.5.
4.5, yeah.
Like it, but if I had kids, I would show it to them.
Oh yeah.
Like, they might have questions about like, oh well, getting back together or whatever. But it's just it's a quick watch. Like if someone has kids and you just pop it on, like, and there's a couple funny parts. Like the mom gets drunk, which I was surprised for a Disney.
Yeah.
They even said the word sex.
They do.
That was crazy.
That
I was
was
like,
really
a Disney movie where they say that? Like Mickey's not like, oh, you need to cut that. Can't market that to everybody.
You do that way too good.
You do.
I'm kidding. Please put me in your movie.
Yeah. Hi, Disney. So one of the very last things that I want to talk to you about as we kind of close things up is you recently started your own business.
I did.
Which round of applause.
Thank
that is
you.
absolutely amazing.
Thank you.
And it's so funny because I feel like in years past, I've like, oh, I have this like really cool idea. I want to do this. And I am just crippled by fear and anxiety. So anyone that does it, I'm like, holy shit, like that is incredibly impressive. So, I mean, I would say like what got you to start it? Like what was that jumping off point where you're like, I can do this?
I really wanted to be a stay-at-home mom and didn't think that maybe that was going to happen so soon, and it did. And I'm like, hey, my dream is to be a stay-at-home mom and have a business, so that when he's in school, then I'll start slow now when he's in school. People will know me and then get business booming. And so I just things at home are just, he's great. He his name's Colton. He's 8 months. He's very cute.
Colton, if you're watching,
I love you.
Hi, Colton.
Please like, subscribe.
Yes.
Hit the bell for notifications.
So I just kind of picked it up one day when he was napping, and I thought, hey, why not start now? If people, it was very scary. I think I get like maybe 18 likes on a good day. So yeah, I just decided if it's something I've been wanting to do, I just did it one day while Colt was napping.
Yeah.
What's your business?
It's called Walk by Faith. And it is basically I'm making everything right now, but eventually I want to sell do wholesale on things like poopery and just candles and stuff like that.
Poopery?
Poopery.
I don't know what that means.
You don't? You don't know poopery?
Poopery?
But I am excited to learn.
Okay, poopery is before you poop and you spray it. And people love it. Actually,
You're fucking with us.
No,
Stop.
wait, are you
no.
So you spray your poop.
You spray the water. You spray the water first, and then you poop.
What if it's too? Oh, you spray the water. I was
Yeah,
gonna say,
so it like has a film of smell good, and then your poop goes in there.
What if it's an emergency?
They have travel ones. They have potty mints. You gotta try it. When you're in a pinch, just unwrap a mint.
I mean,
throw it in there.
Aren't you always in a pinch?
Sometimes people go at their leisure. I don't know.
I wish I had that superpower.
Did I choose poopery?
Ooh. Oh my God.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I totally
Anyways.
tangented. So what else do you do?
Okay. So I make shirts. There's there's a lot of like different shirts that I have ideas for. I just haven't published them yet because I honestly do this while he's napping or late at night. But yeah, so right now it's just my things. My sister has a couple baby blankets on there. And then yeah, eventually I'll go wholesale on some other things, but now's not really the time.
So design wise, do you create it from scratch? Do you use templates?
Yeah, so I usually create it from scratch. I eventually want to get something that's like a sublimation printer that I can put more color and just not words in a picture. I see you.
That's fair. That's fair.
Because they're nice shirts right now, but if I could up it a little bit, that would be great.
Well, the thing too is it's like even just our logo in particular, like all of those were separate images.
Yeah.
That I just like, like yeah, it looks good. And so design is like, I feel like it's such a hard skill to learn. And then it's like, too, it's like you have, do you want to be symmetrical? Or do you want it to be like, you know, its own thing?
Yeah.
And it's tricky. It's really hard.
It is. That's one of the things that, like, I'll have an idea, but it'll take me, like, a couple days to even look at it and be happy with it. And so I don't publish it. So I have a couple of things on there right now. I also do signs, and then I have a page on my website where if there's something that you're thinking of, like if your kid's having a birthday party and you want like a custom shirt for them, you email me and I'll work with you.
Oh, that's
wow.
awesome.
Try and
That's
get
really
that
cool.
going. Yeah.
That's amazing.
That's so
Well,
cool.
This has been so much fun. Thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Literally
This is
just
fun.
wiped the tears out of my eyes. I'm gonna poopery. I need to I need to look into that a little bit more.
I especially have to talk about.
Yeah. Damn it. Okay. Whew. Go ahead, like the video, subscribe, turn the bell on for notifications. We're gonna drop Amy's website in the description down below. So go ahead and scroll down, head over there. This has been great.
This has been so much
Yeah.
Yes,
fun.
it has.
Thank you for coming on.
I missed
Yes.
having you on here. Thank
Yes,
you.
This was great. All right, we're out of
Awesome.
here. Adios.
Adios.
guys.
I said it before and I'll say it again. Life moves pretty fast. You don't stop and look around once in a while, you could miss it.
Hallelujah.